This is my Yunost 70, quite possibly the only one in the United States. And I found this in one of the most mysterious ways. The internet's largest music marketplace, Reverb. Despite this, the listing left me puzzled as I've never seen a combo organ as abstract as the Yunost. So off the high potentiality of owning something elusive, I entrusted my Lithuanian seller to ship it peacefully over to the United States at a probably higher price than it's worth. And after 3 weeks, my elusive piece of space junk arrived, along with this charming 70s soft case straight from a Lithuanian attic. Now, despite this keyboard coming with native 120 volt outlet support, I totally forgot I needed an EU adapter to actually plug it in. While I had it out, I decided to open up the lid and see what the brains of this boy looked like, only to find them scrambled like a test rat on ketamine. And like that test rat, let's take a closer look at what the insides of this keyboard do. To remove the metal lid, you unscrew the bottom thumb screws and it pops off real easy. The life of this keyboard comes from the top left corner. This is where the wall juice comes in and is made digestible for the rest of the keyboard. From there, we can use that power to fuel the rest of our tone cards. Each one of these cards is delegated to a single note. From there, that note is broken up into octaves on that same card and delegated to each respected key. Therefore, you only need one card per note. To tune these notes, you look at the back potentiometer row here. These are just like your guitar knobs, where you would make small adjustments to fine-tune each note. And for some added flavor, the evolution of this rat gave us a vibrato circuit, which is used to vary the pitch of the final output to make it a little more wavy and fun. Now, like we humans do, we failed this rat from the start by making the connections between each tone card a hard metal wire instead of a soft, flexible one. This means that if one of these tone cards decided to lean one way, they'd probably bring the rest of them, especially when we're talking about 70-year-old PCB boards that are pretty much brittle pieces of plastic. And that's exactly what happened to our keyboard. During transit, some worker must have plopped it on its side a little too hard, breaking off one of those PCB mounts, and slowly it managed to bring its way down to all of the other tone card PCBs, making the end result a totally slanted and totally snapped off tone circuit. This unfortunately means that it had to be repaired by a much more qualified electronics technician than I am. Now, assuming your Yunost works, this is the normal order of operations for getting it playing, as per the instruction manual. First, press the power switch. The backlights should light up. After 15 minutes, the instrument is ready to play music.
15 minutes later.
Depending on the nature of the piece and the performer's wishes, select the timbre of the instrument by turning the octave synthesis block's regulation knobs. It's just the knobs. The first control knob on the left regulates the depth of vibrato. From 0 to 9, you can get a stronger or non-existent vibrato from your output signal. The middle 4 knobs from left to right are your drawbar options, and that indicates how much or how little bass and treble you want out of your tone. This is kind of like an organ with drawbars, but they don't actually specifically name any length, so I can't give you a specific on what each one actually increases or decreases. For those not organ-minded, that's pretty much your tone controls. If you want more bass, you go for a lower drawbar. If you want less treble, you bring down the top. Now, the lonely knob in the middle, but all the way to the right, is your bass volume control. That controls the volume of the lower half of the key bed. And finally, the knob all the way to your right is your master tone control, which is pretty much a low pass filter, which when you bring it up, it includes more highs, and when you bring it lower, it rounds off those highs, giving you more of a bass signal. There is also a vibrato speed control knob on the bottom left of the keyboard. Now, you might think you're off the hook because your keyboard works, But now you actually have to play it. And with those 3/4 sized keys, it's a little bit trickier than you'd think. See, the keys are a little bit smaller than your average piano key, but they're not small enough to make your brain play differently. But they're just small enough to make your muscle memory not work, your octaves just a key higher, and everything feel a little wobbly. But this was intentional, comrade. See, if these keys were the same size as a normal piano, it would be too large and unable to be played in the glorious places it was meant to. From the manual, the large dynamic range of the instrument allows it to be used in any condition, at home, in concert halls, clubs, in field camps, factory shops, ships, hiking trips, and even expedition tents. It could be an accompanying or solo instrument at the performer's discretion. Need you any more convincing that this is the defining instrument of the generation? I certainly don't. But if you do, I will provide some demo videos now of some of its sounds. First, we will hear a preset for pop music, with settings set at 7, 8, 8, 9, 8, 0.